we spoke about how it's going to help employees. What are the benefits per se for HR and L&D teams? If you could elucidate on that.
Absolutely. A relevant question again, primarily because HR and L&D are beneficiaries of understanding their people because they represent their workforce, the employees, in many ways, right? A stability standpoint, from an engagement and development standpoint, right? HR and L&D, respectively, continue to invest their efforts current state, which is very fragmented because they might not talk to each other because of lack of data. Again, goes back into how information flows from one to the other, and that information, how relevant is one piece of information to the other. Part of what technology does is it normalizes this information and translates it. Right? One is the acquisition of the information, the other is the understanding of the information, the other is the normalizing of the information. So, say somebody is disengaged, the person technically can be disengaged because they're not satisfied with what they're doing. And if you can take that disengagement and dissatisfaction at one level and connect it to learning at the other level, which is literally taking this, normalizing it to learning paths, then your engagement suddenly might improve because you're starting to provide line of sight based on, say, just for the same job, the person gets more upskilled. Then they suddenly don't lose sight of being a part of the journey of the team or the contribution that's expected from them. More often than not, you find that the person's expectation, the organization's expectation, and that mismatch is the gap that nobody knows how to bridge. And we're also talking about people at this point who are used to instant gratification. We're also talking about the Gen Z and the millennial, the gig economy, as we call it, where who are used to working on digital devices, working through applications that service their needs, work on 3 clicks to buy something, 3 clicks to watch a movie, 3 clicks to eat something, right? So you're automatically saying that you're in a different world that requires this type of instant gratification and consuming to be mimicked within the enterprise. So if you're not able to see those signals and connect the dots between what HR represents and what L&D represents and make it interconnected through, say, what Pathfinder represents, which is a talent marketplace, employees to be able to learn, to recognize, to understand what their peers are doing, what people in different organizations or teams are doing, then there is a huge gap or a void that needs to be filled. The moment you're starting to bridge that with tech, you're starting to establish another standardized level of thinking, a new baseline, if you will, for employees to start leveraging, which means there's more productivity and performance that you can see as throughput for the organization to meet its strategic goals. Because you can't take employees and say, I'm going to organize you by revenue and margin goals in a very direct fashion. Employees have to be productive, have to perform to achieve revenue and margin goals, which are oriented to functional or team goals. That orientation has disconnect. So the maximum that you can achieve through HR and L&D functioning is throughput with productivity and performance, which indirectly, so translates from an employee to revenue and margin. But very directly, productivity and performance will translate to revenue and margin improvements.